So, which camera are you? You want to find out? Then you gotta stay tuned for this camera tutorial coming right up. Hey, I'm Tiggi Habanero, and if we haven't met, I'm super glad that you're here. Thanks for stopping by. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified when I post new videos, and give this a thumbs up. And make sure you do subscribe, because on this channel I'm going to give you video production tips, editing tutorials, and just overall information to help you become a better movie maker. That is my goal. And I need something from you now. When we hit 10,000 subscribers on this channel, we're going to do something special. So I'm going to need your input, because that's for you. So please drop an idea below in the comment box and let me know what we should do for that big day when this channel hits 10,000 subscribers. Let's get started. So finding out which camera you are and buying your first camera can be super intimidating. There's a lot to know. So I will give you my top 5 things that you will need to know to help you make a decision, and most importantly, find out which type of camera you are. Be sure you don't go away and stay to the end of the video, because I will give you my recommendations for the best cameras. And in case you were wondering, my camera picks are based on personality types and creative drivers, such as shooting style. What do you like to shoot? Do you like to shoot videos? Do you like to do still images? We're going to look at all of those. So let's find the camera that is you. There are 2 types of digital cameras. There's a DSLR and a mirrorless. A DSLR stands for digital single lens reflex. And the way it works, the biggest distinction is that there is a mirror inside the camera that reflects to the viewfinder what is actually being portrayed, what you're pointing the camera at. The second type of digital camera is a mirrorless, and that is exactly what it means. It does not have the mirror. So we're going to pay more attention to the mirrorless digital cameras. The reason why is because it does not have the mirror. It is lighter, it's more compact, and they're actually, in a lot of ways, they're not always, but mostly they are better to take videos. So we're going to take a close look at mirrorless cameras. So let's get further into this. Out of the cameras that I'm going to suggest for you, 3 of them are mirrorless. So at this point you may be asking, what's the big deal about a digital camera? You more than likely know you want to upgrade, but you're like, well, why should I? What's the advantage here? And one of the advantages is the sensor. In digital cameras, they have a much larger sensor than your smartphone. And the advantage of a larger sensor in a digital camera is that it captures more light and it captures more detail of the still image or the video that you're shooting. And that is one of the biggest advantages of a digital camera. So sensors are typically the most expensive part of a camera. So the larger the sensor, the pricier the camera is going to be. Okay, so let's talk about 4K. Yes, 1080p is still the standard and it's still considered high definition, but 4K is really the biggest kid on the block at this point, especially since we already have 8K TVs that are out. So make sure that the camera that you find and the camera that is actually you is the camera that can at least shoot in 4K, can do 4K either burst photos for still images, or it can do 4K in video. You want to make sure that that camera can do that. The next thing is to look at your frames per second. I am shooting this video right now in 24 frames per second, which is actually considered to be the film look. It gives a little bit more of a so-called dreamy look to the film or to the video, but you also want to look for 30 frames per second And in some cases, you might want to look for also a 60 frames per second for a camera that has that capability. So be sure, though, at this point, you need to be asking yourself, are you going to be shooting more still images, or are you going to be shooting more videos? Because that is very important for the type of camera that you need to buy and the type of camera that is you. It suits your shooting style. Very important. Now you might be asking yourself, I know I did at first and I still do a lot of times, what is the difference between 24 frames per second and 30 frames per second? Well, the obvious is, right, there's 6 frames difference. But when you are shooting a video, if you shoot it in 30 frames per second, there is actually more data that is collected in that video, in that file. So that is also one way to look at it. If you're planning on doing a lot of manipulation in post in your editing, then you may want to consider doing a 30 frames per second video. So 2 cameras that I'm recommending, they are actually known to do more, they're known for better videos, but they still can do still images, they still can do photos. And one of them is the one that I'm filming on right now, which is the Panasonic Lumix G7. And the other camera that I am recommending is the Olympus. So these cameras are worth considering, and they are good for beginners. So again, they are the Panasonic Lumix G7 and the Olympus. So let's take a little bit closer look at both of those. So the Panasonic Lumix G7H, if you want to get particular, is actually considered a micro 4/3 sensor, which you will hear this term, it's actually considered a cropped sensor. Great hybrid camera. So the Olympus E M10 Mark III camera is also a great video camera. It also does still images. It has lots of pro quality features, and it is also a really good choice for your inner videographer or movie maker. And just like the Panasonic Lumix, it does have an external hot shoe to attach an external mic. So think about the features that you actually do want on your camera. I like to call them the gotta have it features. When I was looking for my camera, I wanted Wi-Fi, I wanted a touchscreen that would fold out. It had to have the hot shoe for an external mic, and it had to shoot in 4K and at least 24 to 30 frames per second. But with digital cameras, of course, they have more features. That also means that there's going to be a learning curve, and you need to learn how to use these new features. And yes, it can sometimes be frustrating and super overwhelming. So budget and buying tips. Figure out how much you want to spend on your camera. Kind of important. The cameras that I'm suggesting for you, or have suggested, are run anywhere between $400 and $800. And this is what you should expect to spend on a new digital camera. And to keep you within your budget and not have you going crazy on extras, try and buy your camera as a kit, because the manufacturer will give you the lens, will give you the camera body, and will help you out on the price. If you buy a body-only camera, that is exactly what you are going to get, is just a camera body. No lens or anything. And the good thing about buying your camera in a kit is that the manufacturer takes the guesswork out of it for you. And what that means is they'll include a lens, such as the one that I'm using here, which is a 14-55 lens that came with the kit. And they'll also throw in some cool things, or like mini tripods or SD cards. Of course, the lens, a strap. A lot of times you'll get a bag. So it's really like kind of a cool little bonus kit. So take advantage of it for that camera. So if you're the kind of person that doesn't like to mess with lenses, you just want to point and shoot, then there's a camera for you. It is a point and shoot camera. It has a zoom lens that stays with the camera. It never comes off, and that camera is for you. So the Canon PowerShot G7X Mark III will shoot in 4K, a cropped version of a 4K, and it will also shoot uncropped 1080 video at up to 120 frames per second. If you're afraid of commitment and are always in a hurry, the Canon point and shoot will be your camera too. If these cameras so far are not really, if you're not really feeling them, then stay to the end of this video because I will give you a different pick. If you're feeling left out because you're really into photos and not really that much into videos, I haven't forgotten you. The good camera for you is called a Fujifilm X-T100. While a great camera for photos, it's not such a great camera for videos. So if you're the true videographer, movie maker, this camera is definitely not you. But if you're into photos, this is your camera. But, and this is why it's not good for video, it has a poor 15 frames per second frame rate for a 4K video. Nikon Coolpix is for you if the other ones were not your style. So all I can say is, that shark cage off the coast of Australia. It has the 4K resolution for video, and it is pretty reasonably priced at $400. So the Nikon Coolpix is truly a waterproof camera, as you can see, and it is good up to 100 feet underwater. So do get in that shark cage off the coast of Australia and enjoy. And I love this camera because I wish I had it when I was in the Bahamas, but hey, you know what I did? This is what I did. Nothing like a baggie and your iPhone, right? Seal that baggie up and you are good to go. Hey, it looks funny, but it worked. Here is the first video I took in the Caribbean with my iPhone in a plastic bag because I had it sealed up, but I was very nervous because I was sure that it was going to leak and ruin my phone. So that's why it's very short. So go ahead, don't be shy. Go get a digital camera. You'll be really glad that you did. And if you haven't already, be sure that you subscribed to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and share it.